You're going to sign personal guarantees if you get into franchising. That's going to happen. And it's always this kind of soul-crushing thing where like, hey, I set up a corporation or a limited liability company. I'm protecting myself personally. And then every single large obligation is going to come with a personal guarantee. And you're going to realize, oh, well, this kind of sucks. Well, it does. And you can't avoid it. It just comes with... Actually, it's not entirely true. I have a client who's never guaranteed a single lease. I don't know how they did this. By the time they got to me, they had 80 stores. And I have to tell you, it is so much fun when landlords come that we're doing new locations, like, yeah, we need a personal guarantee. I go, yeah, we got 200 stores, never signed one. And they're like, well, we need one. I'm like, all right, well, then I'm just going to hang up because we're done here. That's a fun story to tell, but there's momentum in it, right? Like, they literally won't do it. Like, we will walk away from the deal without signing a personal guarantee. Now, they've got all of their stuff sort of lumped in large, they've got decent assets behind their liabilities. It is interesting to me that, once you can point to a trend like that, it can work for you. Anyway, you're probably going to guarantee your financing. Paradoxically, I've spent part of my life as a bankruptcy attorney and doing distress stuff. It's easier to deal with a guarantee of $40 million than $40,000. If you guarantee a $40,000 obligation, everybody who's dealing with that can imagine how someone would pay $40,000 back. But there isn't anybody that can even conceive of how you would pay $40 million back. So I've been dealing with lenders who just like, yeah, we could take the summer cabin and get $500,000, but I mean, who gives a shit? It's $40 million. Whereas the $40,000, like, they will not let it go. And so let's talk for a second about the kinds of things that come up. Because I had this client teach me this, and I wish I'd come up with this myself. But the stream of I've never had an original thought, which is why I became a lawyer. I had a client, John, who had this habit when he would sign contracts that required him to guarantee it. Underneath his signature, he would write expires, and then he would put a date that was 1 year out from the date he was signing. Or he'd say expires 12 months from the date of this document. Just write it underneath his thing. And he would always get from the person, who's giving him the form to sign, hey, you can't do that. And he goes, no, don't worry about it. He says, I'll sign another one next year. We'll just do it. But I just don't want this out there. So if you need a guarantee, just come back to me and I'll sign it again. And of course they never did. And he got to the end of his business. Things didn't go well. But all the little ones weren't there because John had been sticking that in underneath. Now, in this day of DocuSign and electronic signature and that kind of stuff, you're going to have to come up with a workaround on this. Are you going to just hammer it into the document, or just some way of insisting that go in there and telling them, look, ask me to sign it again? Because you've got the big creditors. If they're so big, they're actually going to be reasonable and realistic. And you can manage that. But if you have a whole bunch of little ones that are chasing you personally, it just by sheer number, it's like when a bull moose gets hauled down by wolves. One wolf couldn't do it, but like 20, yeah, they're just going to keep biting. If you can, stick that in there. Similarly, one of the things we try, we don't always get it, is in leases, try to get the guarantee, if we're going to have one, to burn off. If there's 3 years without a default, there's no personal guarantee, or some other measure in some other time period. Or when we sell, the personal guarantee goes away. And this is a bigger one. Honestly, this isn't legal advice. This is just observation. Once the lease has gotten turned over a few times and you've gotten away from when you operated the store and your guarantee's still on it, they tend not to come for you. I don't know why that is, but they don't. Or if they do, they'll settle for some reasonable amount. But I will say that my clients who get out of deals and realize, wait a minute, I have like 70 personal guarantees on these leases and I don't own this thing anymore. That is uncomfortable. And the more we can just stick in there, hey, when we sell, personal guarantee goes away, yeah? Or when we sell, personal guarantee goes away after a year, after 2 years. It's just some limitation so that at some point it sunsets. And use that concept in your signature on the little vendor things, and use that concept on the leases. When it comes to loaning, lending, borrowing, I cannot help you. You are going to sign a personal guarantee unless you are a giant and your balance sheet is so good that they don't care. But you get an SBA loan, or you got 10 stores, you go some regional bank, they got to have your personal guarantee. They just do. And that's not avoidable. All right. So in summary, you got personal guarantees falling into 3 different categories in this video. 1, little tiny ones. And you got to try to work the whole, this is going to expire in a year. You got leases, and you're going to try to get some sunset date, either off the start of the lease or the back when you leave. And lending, there's nothing you can do except get huge and then get a new loan because you're huge and your balance sheet is great. And that's what we did in this video. And it's so damn good, you don't even need to call me. Just do what I said and subscribe, because you never know. You never know when I'm going to unleash some other gem that you won't even need to pay for. You just get it because you're sitting there.